to specialize and to say, okay, you only do that. Because if you then say, okay, well, now that you've done that, do something else, you start to lose the experience curve.
Will the curve go down as well if you just do the same thing again?
Yeah, that's another thing. You might get too bored with the whole thing. But just picture, especially for this morning shift, trucks coming in and out, and people just unloading all the time and nothing else. Okay? Okay, we're coming to the crux of this case, which is the problem that occurs when the full truck policy, remember that these guys have a full truck policy, they will only go to the distribution center when the truck is absolutely full. Okay? Truck absolutely full, and then we'll go to the regional distribution center. What is the problem? It can take too long. And so what happens is a lot of these trucks take too long, and they hit this shift rather than that shift. Okay? So this is the problem that is described in the case. What is the result? What is the result for these people in this shift?
They have less work to do.
Yeah.
No,
They
that's not
are-
a problem. They have less work to do. But the problem is that they don't get enough.
They're
It's
not
delayed.
going to doing the same stuff.
They are happy because they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay? They can
It's
just
them people who
they just
do the
smoke cigarettes and talk about football or other things, but they don't do unloading of trucks. Okay? So that is a problem because they are there to do work, and if they don't do work, they get fired. Okay? And that's not what they want.
And that's not the problem.
No, that's one problem. There's more problems. What is another problem?
The penalties.
There's certainly penalties in the service level agreement, that's for sure. But I'm actually speaking about this one. What happens to these people? Are they happy?
There will be
No,
no.
they're not as good at
No.
doing the job of the morning people.
No, it's just they'll have a workload. The workload will be higher than.
Yeah, they will be very pressured because they are picking and sorting. And at the same time, they have trucks coming in, which they have to unload.
Big sort of load.
Which they, because they have no experience curve, they don't know how to do. Okay? So these guys are very unhappy. And these guys are maybe also unhappy, well, depends a bit on how you look at it. And these guys, that's the same. Nothing's happening. They're neither unhappy nor happy as a result of what's happening. Okay? So we're having this problem that we have these shifts, and we have trucks coming in this shift rather than that. And the reason why that is because it is suboptimal. They are only looking at their own service level agreement, which is cost. Cost you have only when you have a full truck. Okay? So now my question to you is, what is the answer? What do we need to do? Can I have a suggestion? So how do you solve the problem that trucks hit this shift rather than that shift? Sorry.
You could possibly get more trucks, because then you can spread the work out in a month.
But
Yeah.
That's just
operating.
more.
About
So
You
you're
are-
basically saying, drop this policy. Don't do this policy.
Well,
I
that's
think
the
they should
suggestion.
have like, you know, certain time slots where they should, like, you know, if by this time
Yes.
they got
yes.
this amount of product, they
as
must
a new term,
get-
the service level agreement.
I'm going to pick up on all points actually, because I think you're all referring to the same thing, which is to drop this policy of one fixed size full truck before you actually go there, which causes a problem. That is actually driven then by their service level agreement. So the most obvious resolution would be to renegotiate that service level agreement and say, actually, it's not that important to just have one truck. It's much more important to hit this shift. Okay, so this morning shift. That is, I think that is what I'm getting from all three of you. That's not the only thing though. There's more things you can do. Is there any other suggestion?
maybe have they said that they outsource, or they said they have another subcontractor.
Yeah, so they can certainly go to a competitor and say, look, can you do this for us, and can you do it in the right time?
Well,
Another
say
suggestion?
change the shift patterns by increasing the hours a bit more.
That's another suggestion. So if these guys are, say, 150, 150, 150, then you can say, okay, well, if you don't have that much to do, we'll just reduce this by 50, and we'll add 50 here, so this is going to be 100, 200, 150. Okay, so you readjust the shift so that more people are around in the second shift.
I was thinking more like the time, so like the morning you can do 6 to 4 p.m.
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah.
So it's reasonable for
Yeah.
PPL.
There's one more solution that I'm looking for in the shifts area. That's something that you could do to solve the problem a little bit. Anybody an idea? At the moment, the shifts are very specific. So if you are in shift 1, you only unload. If you are in shift 2, you only sort and pick. And if you're in shift 3, you only load. Is there anything you can do there?
Like they can do it like in patches, you know, instead of in the morning always loading, unloading, unloading.
Yeah, yeah.
You can just.
So that is another thing you can do. You can say, okay, as soon as the truck is unloaded and there's no new truck, you just start picking and sorting for whatever it is that you can do with whatever it is in the truck. Okay? Does that make sense? So rather than wait for the next shift to pick and sort,
Do it
in the first shift you unload and you start picking and sorting.
Or just remove all of the shifts things and just let everyone work together.
But then you would have 24-hour weeks. The working time directive
Yeah, but
is not suitable for that.
no, but not like they should do one thing in the morning, like have all the staff who were appointed for that day to be there present, and then it's the same thing, like they can come tomorrow and
Yeah, okay. It is a solution. It was not the one that I was talking about.
yeah.
I think just a little bit of job rotation,
Yeah.
just as a backup, but that doesn't mean you're decreasing the experience curve. They still do it,
That's right.
but
That's
just
right.
as a substitute.
So this is one other example. I'm only looking at several suggestions that you can do to solve the problem. One of them is to say to the people from shift 1, you not only do the unloading, but you also do the picking and sorting. And we may lose some of the experience curve because they may not know how to do that, or but yeah, it is certainly something you can do. Yeah.
Sorry. Kind of going on what just saying before, could you like possibly train the second to be
Yeah, to
able
do
to
unloading,
do unloading as well?
Yeah.
But only a few people, so that obviously not everyone is the
Yeah.
same, so the experience curve goes high again.
That's right. That's right. And that's
So
something that
there
you
are no
can
two
then
tasks,
do.
no,
Yeah,
two
I
tasks.
think that's a very good solution.
So tell us, what's your answer? What do you think?
No, these are all solutions. There's not one single solution to the problem. Okay, so the case suggests a problem because of the SLA, because of the service level agreement. The truck must be full. You get delays in the further on in the supply chain, and that's here. Okay, so that's when the shifts start to get all mixed up. And so, what is the solution? The solution is either look at the SLA. This is our first solution. So review the contract. Review the problem. That's another thing you could do. You can just look at, okay, what's going on here. But there's very little you can do if you're actually in charge of DC, because the contract is with the TPL. Okay. And finally, you can look at the shift rotation, and you can look at the shift patterns. Okay. So just to summarize, what I've done is I have talked about supply chains, and I've talked about companies in a supply chain and suboptimality, which is a critical characteristic of supply chains. We have drawn a network chart of a supply chain, and we have looked at shifts and changes in SLAs.
So I just want to ask you a question. This TPL is the third party, yeah?
That's right.
And this truck which goes around all
Yes.
over the place,
It's
is
part of the TPL.
it's part of
Yeah,
the TPL?
That's right.
Okay, maybe if these people find suppliers who are closer, you
Yeah.
know, to each other.
I know what you mean. So part of the 70%, you can either go there.
Yeah,
That's also a good solution.
yeah, just to put it there, you know, and have it like 50-50 or just to a certain
That's
extent
right.
where
That's right.
it works out better than that.
Okay, are there any other questions? Otherwise, I'll wrap it up,
What was the
and we'll see you all
question?
next week.
Question.
Thank you for coming.